Welcome to next lecture of compiler design, that is on syntactic specification of programming languages. I am Dr. Parul Yadav, assistant professor at Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Institute of Engineering and Technology, Lucknow. In today's lecture, we will discuss context-free grammar, derivation and parse tree. Up to this lecture, we have discussed lexical analyzer. Input to lexical analyzer is a sequence of character or source program, and output to lexical analyzer is a stream of tokens. Up to here we have discussed how lexical analyzer is transforming the input written in high level language and transforming input into the form of tokens. Now, these tokens will be input to syntax analyzer, and syntax analyzer will generate the parse tree or syntax tree. So, in today's class we will discuss the basic terminologies or constructs that will be used inside the syntax analyzer. So, first is the grammar that will be used inside syntax analyzer. A formal grammar can be defined, suppose formal grammar is capital G. So, it can be defined using 4 tuples, they are V, T, S and P. Here capital V stands for finite set of non-terminals, capital T stands for finite set of terminals, capital S stands for start symbol of the grammar, where S is member of capital V, and P stands for the production rules. So, here we are focusing on context free grammar, and in context free grammar production rule is written like V2 then V union T whole star. This is a production rule. It means on left hand side of production at most one non-terminal may appear, and on right hand side of production string of any string of terminals or non-terminals may appear. So, in syntax analysis we use context free grammar to describe the grammar. So, context free grammar gives precise and easy to understand constructs to specify syntactic specification of particular programming language. So, if we are talking about any programming language, so we need to define syntactic constructs, and these constructs can be defined using context free grammar because it provides precise and easy to understand form. Next, context free grammar produces efficient parser. So, parser should be efficient. If it is not efficient, then sometimes it may have some construct that are difficult to parse or maybe producing unambiguous grammar. So, it is desirable that parser should be efficient. Next, CFG imparts a structure of program that is useful for translation into object code or for detection of errors. So, it provides aids to producing object code as well as detecting the errors. Now, very quickly we will go through certain notational conventions that will be used in context free grammar. So, first is these symbols can be terminals. Lowercase letters early in the alphabet like small case ABC, they can be terminal. Similarly, operator symbols like plus, minus, multiplication, division, they can be terminals. Punctuator symbols like opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis, semicolon, comma, they all can be punctuators, terminals. Digits like 0, 1, 2 up to 9, they can be terminals. Now, boldface strings, suppose we have some strings, so we will write them in boldface like ID, if, else, then. So, these boldface strings can be used to denote terminals. Now, next is non-terminal. Uppercase letters early in the alphabet like A, B, C, they can be used as terminal. Now, letter S, which when it appears is usually the start symbol of the grammar. So, usually capital S is used as a start symbol of the grammar. Next is lowercase italic names such as expression, statement. Here we can write it like this also, expression or statement, but in italic form and lowercase form. So, these string can be treated as non-terminals. Similarly, uppercase letters like E, T, F, suppose to denote expression we can use E, to denote a statement we can use S, to denote term we can use T, to denote factor we can use F. So, such letters, uppercase letters can be used to denote the non-terminals. Now, other terminologies like grammar symbol. So, uppercase letters late in the alphabet X, Y, Z, they can be treated as grammar symbol. Grammar symbol can be non-terminal or terminal, any symbol. Now, lowercase letters late in the alphabet like U, V, Z, they can be used as string of terminals. Now, next is string of grammar symbols. So, lowercase Greek letters such as alpha, beta, gamma, they can be used as a string of grammar symbols. A string of grammar symbols mean V union T whole star. So, if we are having alpha, beta, gamma, it mean alpha mean this form, beta mean this form, any form of terminal or non-terminals. So, this is about the and it includes the empty string also. Another notational convention is A productions, head and alternates. So, suppose we have production like A to alpha 1, then A to alpha 2 up to A to alpha n. So, this whole set is called as A production, where A is called as head of production, and this group is called as A production, and this group can be written like this also, A to alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, like this. So, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha n, they all are called as alternates of capital A. Capital A can be replaced by any one of its alternates. So, these are certain notational conventions. Now, we will discuss the next topic, that is derivation. So, what is derivation? Derivation mean sequence of replacements applied to get an instance from a start symbol of the grammar. Mean suppose we have this grammar, this is the start symbol of the grammar capital E, and it has productions like E plus E, E to E multiplication E, E to parenthesization of E, E to minus E and E to ID. Now, here one instance is giving to us. Instance means the sentence that is belonging to language. So, here the instance is minus opening parenthesis ID and closing parenthesis. So, we need to obtain this instance from this grammar. So, we will start from start symbol of the grammar, that is capital E. So, here capital E. Now, we will apply the moves one by one. So, here E derives. Now, to get this instance, which alternate of this set should be used? So, here we should replace this E with minus E, this E with minus E, and here we will get E derives minus E using production E to minus E. Now, in next step, to get this instance, here we have non-terminal capital E. Now, this E should be replaced with this alternate to get the desired instance. Now, E derives minus opening parenthesis E and closing parenthesis. Now, here we need to get ID, and here we have E. Now, this E should be replaced with this alternate to get the desired instance. So, here this derives minus opening parenthesis ID and closing parenthesis. So, to get particular instance, we started from a start symbol of the grammar, and then we apply certain sequence of replacements. So, these sequence of replacements that we apply to get particular instance from start symbol of the grammar is known as derivation. So, this is derivation of minus opening parenthesis ID and closing parenthesis. Here we should take care that this symbol known as E2, right, E2 E plus E, mean this is E production, this is non-terminal, and here we have a string of grammar symbols, and E can be replaced with E plus E. This is in the production, this is syntax of writing production, and this says derives, mean E derives minus E in one step. Now, we will see the next example for derivation, but before seeing that the next example, we will first understand the next terminology, that is sentence and sentential form. So, suppose we have a grammar that is capital G and in start symbol of the grammar is capital S, right. Now, from the start symbol of the grammar, we suppose applying one step and we are moving, suppose we are reaching alpha, right. So, S to alpha in one step. So, here we should know the symbols like first is this one, next is this one and next is this one. So, the thing is meaning of this symbol mean LHS derives RHS in one step, LHS derives RHS in one step. Next is this one, meaning is LHS derives RHS in 0 or more steps. Next is second one, suppose S and here we have suppose W, the meaning is LHS derives RHS in 1 or more steps. So, these are the symbols that will be used. Now, we will see the definition of sentence and sentential form. If S, the start symbol of the grammar G derives W, W mean the string of terminals, is in one or more steps, W is called the sentence of capital G. So, here suppose grammar is capital G and sentence is S, from S we will apply one or more steps and we are getting W. What is W? W is a string of terminals. So, this W is called as sentence of capital G, mean when we are doing the derivation we will get many forms and the forms that has in which all symbols are terminal symbols, such form is called as sentence. Now, next is the sentential form. Again there is grammar capital G and start symbol of grammar is capital S. Now, here we will apply 0 or more steps, that is 0 or more steps, and we are deriving here alpha, and here alpha may contain non-terminals, it may contain non-terminals. So, such forms are called as sentential form. Such forms are called as sentential form. Now, we will see one example to understand sentence and sentential form. So, here we will obtain the derivation, then we will find what is sentence and what is sentential form. So, here we have this grammar, the same grammar, but now in stance is minus id plus id. So, here we will obtain derivation. This is next example for derivation. E derives this one. So, which alternate of E should be used now? Here this E should be expanded using this alternate minus E. So, E2 minus E. Now, next is again we have this E. Now, this E should be replaced with which alternate? The third alternate. So, here we will write minus then E like this, minus then parenthesization of E. Now, again we have this non-terminal. Now, this E should be replaced with which alternate? It should be replaced with first alternate now. So, minus opening parenthesis E plus E and closing parenthesis. Now, next is we have this form. Now, again here we have this E. Now, this E should be replaced with id using production E to id. So, here we will write id plus and E. Always remember this is the derive sign that shows this derives this in one step. So, in every step we will do only one substitution. Here we will not replace this E with id, right. So, only one substitution will take place in one step, because here we have derives in one step. Now, next here we have this E. Now, again this E should be replaced with fifth alternate id, E to id. So, here we will get id plus id. So, this is the derivation of this instance from start symbol of the grammar. Now, we will try to obtain what is the sentence and what are the sentential forms over here. here. So, sentence mean when we are doing the derivation, we are obtaining many forms like E, minus E, this, these all are the forms that we are obtaining in derivation. Now, the form that has only string of terminals, that will be called as sentence. So, among all these form, this is the form that has only string of terminals. So, here sentence is minus, then id plus id, here we have the sentence like this. Now, we will find what is the sentential form. So, we will see first form is E, we know in sentential form non-terminal may also appear. So, E is first sentential form. Now, next is minus E, so this will be sentential form. Next is minus and parenthesization of E, next is minus E plus E, and next is minus id plus E, and next is minus id plus id, right. So, these all are the sentential form, while this is the sentence. So, when we obtain the derivation, so we can obtain sentence as well as the sentential forms. Now, the important point is that every sentence is sentential form, but every sentential form is not a sentence. For example, this is one sentence, this is also the sentential form, but if we look at this one, this is only the sentential form, it is not the sentence. So, up to here we discussed how to obtain derivation, then how to obtain sentence and sentential form. Now, next is we will look into what are the types of derivations. So, there are two types of derivation. First is leftmost derivation and second is rightmost derivation. So, in leftmost derivation mean when we do the derivation, so in every step or in every sentential form, if we replace leftmost non-terminal first, right. So, that form or that derivation is called as leftmost derivation. So, in leftmost derivation, leftmost non-terminal in sentential form is replaced at each step, right. At each step we replace leftmost non-terminal first. Now, in rightmost derivation what we will do? In each step of derivation, we in the sentential form we replace rightmost non-terminal first. So, while obtaining the derivation, if we are replacing rightmost non-terminal first, then that particular derivation is called as rightmost derivation. Now, remember here that should be followed throughout the steps of obtaining the derivation. Now, we will see one example, and here we will obtain leftmost as well as rightmost derivation. So, grammar is same and instance is also same. Now, for this instance, first of all we will obtain leftmost derivation. So, for obtaining leftmost derivation, we will write E derives. So, here we should again use this alternate E2 minus E. Now, this E should be replaced with, mean how to get the leftmost non-terminal, just scan the sentential form from left to right and replace the non-terminal that we get first. So, this is the first non-terminal E. Now, this should be replaced with opening parenthesis E and closing parenthesis. Now, next is this one, and now this E should be replaced with first alternate, that is E plus E. Now, next is this. Now, this E should be replaced with id because we are talking about leftmost derivation. So, in every step we will replace leftmost non-terminal first. Here we have two choices. So, this leftmost non-terminal should be replaced first. So, here we will write id plus E. Now, if we will scan it from left to right, now next it should be, now this E should be replaced with id. So, this is obtaining the derivation using leftmost derivation. Now, next is rightmost derivation. Rightmost derivation. So, again E derives minus E, then this derives parenthesization of E, and then this derives parenthesization of E plus E, right. Now, here we will scan it from right to left, and the non-terminal that will get first, it should be replaced first. So, here it is this one. So, this is a rightmost non-terminal. So, here we will get E plus ID and then minus ID plus ID. So, this is the derivation using rightmost derivation. Here we will look at certain notations, like this says derives in one step, this says derives in 0 or more steps, this says derives in 1 or more steps. Similarly, we can write this, and below to it we may write LM. So, it shows LHS derives RHS in one step using leftmost derivation. Similarly, we can write like this, mean LHS derives RHS in 0 or more steps using leftmost derivation. Similarly, we can interpret these notations, like here we can have RM, RM and RM. So, it means obtain it using rightmost derivation. This question can also be written like this one. So, what is meaning here? Obtain this instance from start symbol of the grammar using leftmost derivation. And to make it more clear, below the arrow we can write here LM, and here we can write RM. But here, because at the top of the box we have made the entry of RM, so it is obvious that what we are doing over here. Now, next topic is parse tree. Parse tree provides graphical representation of derivation. So, suppose we have the projection A to x, y, z, and here suppose we are doing the step like A derives x, y, z. In some step we have A derives x, y, z. So, for the derivation we can construct a parse tree. So, what is the idea actually? We are doing this derivation using this projection. So, while doing the derivation we will go to the projection that we used. So, it is A to x, y, z. So, for this parse tree will be constructed like the non-terminal that is on left hand side, that will be treated as interior node or root node, it is possible. So, it will be as the interior node. Now, on right hand side there are 3 grammar symbols. So, for this A we will create its 3 children, and labeling will be done like this in the order in which the grammar symbols are written on right hand side of production. So, this is x and then y and then z. So, for this production, if derivation is like this, then parse tree will be drawn like this. So, parse tree provides graphical representation for derivation. It filters out the choice regarding replacement order. Now, each interior node of parse tree is labeled by some non-terminal A like this one, and children of node are labeled from left to right by the symbols in the right hand side of the production, by which this A was replaced in the derivation. So, this has been explained using this example. Now, next example, there are 2 important points. It is not hard to see that every parse tree will produce a unique leftmost or unique rightmost derivation. Simultaneously, it is not necessarily that every instance will have unique parse tree or unique leftmost derivations or rightmost derivation. This will be very clear in this example. Now, suppose we have this grammar and this is the instance. For this instance, we can draw the leftmost derivation, that is E2. This is ID plus ID multiplication ID. So, here suppose we are using first alternate E plus E. Now, in leftmost derivation, this E should be replaced with ID and then E, and then this E next, this E should be replaced with ID plus E multiplication E, and then ID plus ID multiplication E, and then ID plus ID multiplication ID. Similarly, there is another possibility for getting the same derivation. Here we use the first alternate first, E plus E. Now, we can start with E derives E multiplication E. Now, we can write in place of this E plus E multiplication E, and then we will replace the E's one by one with ID. So, first this E, then ID plus ID multiplication E, and then ID plus ID multiplication ID. So, for single instance, if we are focusing on leftmost derivation only, then also there are two different leftmost derivations. Now, first we will draw parse tree for this derivation. So, here we will get E2 E plus E, then this E with replaced with ID, and then this E is replaced with E multiplication E, then this with ID, and then this with ID. Similarly, we can draw parse tree for this leftmost derivation. Here E2 E multiplication E, and then this 2 E plus E, and then this E with ID, this E with ID, and this E with ID, right. So, what we are saying, for single instance there are two different parse tree. So, this is quite unacceptable, because here we have ambiguous grammar. So, what is the thing, we should find what is the correct parse tree and what is the wrong parse tree. So, in parse tree we do computation bottom to top. In this parse tree, first we are doing the multiplication and then we are doing the addition. In this parse tree, first we are doing addition and then we are doing the multiplication. In this instance, what is accepted actually, what is desirable? First of all, second and third identifier should be multiplied, and then this result should be added up with the previous ID, because of the associativity and precedence of the operator. We know that multiplication operator has higher precedence to addition. So, the parse, this parse tree, first it is doing multiplication and then addition. This parse tree is first doing addition and then multiplication. So, after attaching associativity and precedence of the operator, we can select only one parse tree and we can ignore rest of the parse tree. So, this is the process of building the parse tree. Here we have shown that there are multiple leftmost derivations and different parse trees are there, but we have to select only one parse tree, because single computation should have only one method of performing the computation. Suppose this is 2, this is 3 and this is 5. So, every time we should get 17, right. First these should be multiplied and then that should be added with the previous one. So, this is all for today's class. In today's class we discussed about syntactic specification of programming language, where we focus on context free grammar, then derivation and parse tree. In derivation we discussed the terminologies like sentence, sentential form, leftmost derivation and rightmost derivation. This is all for today. Thank you.